You know, it's really funny how current events can really derail your plans. My original intention for this video was purely to preview Ultima Lucha Dos and talk about Lucha Underground's big season finale and preview the show and hype it up and do all those other things and talk about how excited I am for the card. But something came up today that really captured my interest, and that was people talking and reviewing and hyping a TNA match. Matt Hardy versus Brother Nero, Jeff Hardy, in the final Deletion match, which is going to air in less than 2 hours on Pop TV on the latest episode of TNA Impact Wrestling. And the buzz surrounding this match is insane. I've already seen reaction videos from some of the TNA stars like Drew Galloway and EC3 and Rockstar Spud, and a few other like online wrestling reviewers and stuff like that. And everybody is pretty much agreed. I saw Lance Storm. I saw him tweeting about it, and basically the general consensus is like, I can't guarantee that you'll like this. I can't guarantee that you will hate this. It's going to be a very divisive type of thing, the way it's presented. And based on what I saw in the preview, which looked insane, I saw Matt Hardy shooting fireworks at Jeff, and I was like, what the fuck is this? This is the craziest fucking thing. And basically, it looks like it's going to be presented similarly to something like you would expect to see out of Lucha Underground. Something like that, where it doesn't feel like a wrestling show. It feels like a movie or something very cinematic. At least that's the impression I got from looking at the preview. And the reactions that this match is getting, people are saying that this is the most insane thing that you'll ever see in wrestling. And it's being hyped up pretty heavily online. And it's actually nice to see a TNA match that's getting some buzz. And it's nice to see TNA, like, they created something that they're proud of, apparently, that they want to show people and want to use as a major selling point of their promotion, because it's been a while since there's been, like, a really, really hot match that, was worth showcasing in any kind of major way. Probably the last TNA match that had some serious buzz around it was, the EC3 Rockstar Spud hair versus hair match, which was legitimately a very good match and like my favorite TNA match in the last few years. And they've had some good matches, especially at the tag team division when you had Beer Money and the Wolves and the Dirty Heels and various other things, but nothing like that really like, oh my god, you need to go out of your way to see this type of thing. And this feels like it's nice to see TNA having some positive buzz about something that they created and something that they feel happy about promoting. So, I will be watching TNA Impact tonight, assuming that the show doesn't get preempted for for that 70 show ads or something like that. I will be watching it, and I will film myself watching it and then post my reaction immediately afterwards. So we'll see how that goes. I was thinking about doing a live stream via YouTube, but I thought that, for 2 hours that might get boring if I'm just sitting there watching TV for 2 hours, and I don't think I could hold people's attention for that long, not without some creative editing on my part. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to watch the match, film myself watching it, and then post my reaction to it immediately following the show. Hopefully it's cool. It looks like it's going to be... It looks remarkable, based on what I'm seeing, and everybody who's seen it is saying, you need to check this out. And again, it's one of those things that's like, it might end up being divisive, it might end up splitting the fan base. Some people will love it, some people will hate it, but you're going to remember it. And I'm like, alright, you've sold me. I'm curiosity hopefully doesn't kill, won't kill this cat, but... I'm curious enough to check it out, and we'll see how it goes. It's got to be better than Raw this week, because I didn't watch Raw live during July 4th because I was celebrating July 4th. But that show was so boring. It was so just dead, except for like a few brief spurts of coolness. It was a pretty dead show, and the main event was stupid. Yeah, all the Americans versus all the foreigners, because foreigners are bad, blah, 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 whatever the fuck. It was like, this is stupid, I don't care, but, I couldn't even finish watching it, to be perfectly honest. I was just like, whatever, they took the night off because it was a holiday, and it's like, fine, whatever, I don't care. So, I mean, this is way more interesting already than Raw was this week, and hopefully they deliver. Hopefully they deliver what they promised, which is something crazy and fucking insane. Again, based on my impressions of what I'm seeing, it's either going to be like Lucha Underground level of awesome in terms of production, or it's going to be so hilarious that it's awesome because of how hilarious it is. I don't know. Well, it might wind up being both. Who the fuck knows anymore? But I'm gonna check it out with you know, very intrigued by what I see. So you know, I'll be watching TNA tonight, and hopefully that Matt Hardy Jeff Hardy match delivers. So. But I did want to preview Ultima Lucha Dos. It starts tomorrow night. It's going to be 3 events, 3 weeks worth of shows. And Lucha Underground on the El Rey Network, who, thank God, came back for a Season 2. I remember after Season 1 was over, and after the first Ultima Lucha, there was some fear that there wasn't going to be a Season 2. And legitimate concern on my part, because I thought, this show's too good. No, it can't go away. I need it. And thank God we got a Season 2. Season 3's also been filmed, which is cool. So at least we're going to get 3 seasons out of this. And you know, we're coming up on Ultima Lucha Dos, which is their 2nd season finale. It's their big event. They're having all the big matches and everything. And last year's Ultima Lucha was spread out over 2 weeks. This one's spread out over 3. So it's like they've got a lot of big matches that they want to showcase. And that's what that tells me. There's a lot of stuff that they want to do. And there are a lot of guys that they want to get on the show. You know, this season was shorter than Season 1. I think Season 1 ended up going 39 episodes. And this one went... once Ultima Lucha is done, it'll wind up being about 26, I think. I think I preferred the longer season from Season 1, because I felt like there was, it gave them a little bit more time to build matches up and do more with it, but I mean, Season 2 was great. I mean, we got so many great things, like, you know, so many great and big matches, like the Mil Muertes Phoenix title match, the Six to Survive match, the Aztec Warfare match. The series of matches between Phoenix and King Cuerno were very good. The No Mas, oh my god, the No Mas match between Sexy Star and Mariposa, which so far is my match of the year, without question. I freaking loved it. And great storylines and feuds to accommodate those. Great characters. You know, we finally got Matanza, and he's the Lucha Underground champion right now. You know, we've got Rey Mysterio on the show, and all the Season 1... Pretty much all the Season 1 favorites came back. I mean, we didn't get everybody back, but all the big ones that you wanted to come back, like Prince Puma, the Pentagons, the Phoenixes, King Cuerno, Mil Muertes, all those guys, they all came back, which was great. Dario, who's like the MVP of the show. He's the best authority figure in wrestling. I love him. But, yeah, so over 3 episodes of Lucha Underground, we're going to be treated to their big season finale event, and I'm here to basically preview the show and hype it up to you guys. I'm not going to give predictions because the show's already been taped, and to give predictions on a show that's already been taped and where the spoilers are readily available, it just seems insane. I have avoided any and all spoilers because I don't want to have anything spoiled for me, because I love the show so much that I just don't want to have it ruined for me. So I'm coming into this completely not knowing how anything plays out. But because the spoilers are available, you know, I'm not going to make any predictions. Although I encourage you not to spoil yourself. And actually, if you've never watched Lucha Underground before, I say turn my video off, go check out Season 1. It's available on iTunes. Watch all of Season 1, and then catch up on Season 2, which I'm not sure if Season 2 is actually on iTunes. But just get caught up on it, then watch Ultima Lucha Dos, because it's going to be great. But yeah, we've got a lot of big matches, big storyline culminations, and character development, and all sorts of other things going on. And I'm here to talk about all of that right now. So, without further ado, let's get started. Part 1, which is tomorrow night's show, has pretty much been confirmed to be the unique opportunity tournament, which is basically a 4-man tournament, with the winner receiving a special prize from Dario Cueto. And ever since the show began, Dario, who is the fantastic owner of Lucha Underground, he was like evil personified, but he's so slimy and so charismatic that he's great. He took the evil boss character, which is something that I was really getting tired of, and he made it just fantastic, and made it fresh again. Anyway, he always gives out unique opportunities, which usually come with... It's kind of like the monkey's paw, or like a genie where you don't make the wish right, where you'll get something that's a reward, but it comes with kind of a catch. And I don't know what just happened there, but anyway, it comes with kind of a catch that could wind up screwing you. Just as an example, last season, Drago won the Best of 5 series with Aerostar, with the winner receiving a unique opportunity. And it turns out Drago was awarded a Lucha Underground World Heavyweight title shot, but if he did not win the Lucha Underground World title, he would be banned from the temple. So that's kind of how Dario's unique opportunities work. There's usually some kind of a catch that can screw you if you don't succeed. And I wouldn't be surprised if something similar to that happened here, especially since it's all baby faces in this setup. The 4 men are Son of Havoc, who is basically the big underdog babyface favorite of the promotion. He was a guy that really came in as kind of a he's kind of like what the social outcasts are now in WWE, where he was just there to kind of be the goofball that gets beat up. But somewhere along the line, fans just fell in love with him, and he became like this really like lovable underdog that eventually wound up becoming one of the trio's champions and one of the best moments that Lucha Underground ever delivered. So he's got a little bit of Daniel Bryan in there as far as like he's the little guy that you want to see succeed. And yeah, so he's in this. Tejano Jr. is in this, a big AAA star. Probably the least interesting guy of the 4, but you know, he's a babyface. And who else? You've got the Machine Cage, who is awesome. Some people have called him Lucha Lesnar, and that's a pretty apt description because he's a big powerhouse guy and very strong, but he also does these amazing athletic things. I mean, for somebody that looks like him to do the things that he can do, it's pretty incredible. And he actually just recently had a Lucha Underground World Heavyweight title shot against Matanza, and they had a really cool match together. Very, very cool match. But yeah, so Cage is in this, and the 4th guy is the Mac, who's basically kind of a fat guy. He's kind of a fat guy that can do all these amazing athletic things, so he's got this lovable charm to him. So he's really likable and very charismatic. So you have all these likable guys and all these likable talents, and they're competing in a 4-man tournament to win this unique opportunity from Dario Cueto. Based on what I've seen in the previews, it looks like the matches are going to be Son of Havoc versus Tejano and the Mac versus Cage. And Cage versus Mac is actually a rematch from last year's Ultima Lucha, where they tore the house down in a Falls Count Anywhere match. So I'm expecting this to be more or less the same, only as part of this tournament that's taking place. And I expect the 4-man tournament to take up the majority of the first part of Ultima Lucha, and I expect it to be a lot of fun. Who's going to win it? Well, I already said I wasn't going to make a prediction. They could really go for... I'd be fine with any one of those guys except maybe Tejano. Like, other than him, I'd pretty much be down for any one of those guys winning the tournament. So we'll see how it goes, and we'll see how it plays out. But I expect those to be a series of fun matches with a nice payoff at the end. And I've even thought that maybe Famous B could make an appearance here, because Famous B all season long has been saying that he advertised and sold himself through these great commercials that they aired throughout season 2, that he's a manager that can get people, get them famous, and he's going to take them to the top. And his first client, Masquerita Sagrada, didn't pan out so well. So it's possible that this tournament will be used as an opportunity for Famous B to find his new client. So you may even get a heel turn out of whoever wins this tournament. So we shall see how that all plays out. And I expect it to make for a really fun Part 1 to Ultima Lucha to really kick things off and get the whole party started. Other things that might happen on the show, Lucha Underground is really known for their cinematic, their cutscenes, basically. They're known, we would call them backstage vignettes on any other wrestling show, but really Lucha Underground, which has really captured that whole, television show style presentation. It really does feel more cinematic and more like in its own world than it does like a live sporting event, which is what WWE tries to be and what TNA tries to be and Ring of Honor tries to be. And they really try to capture like the live sports atmosphere, whereas Lucha Underground goes more for the entertainment aspect, and they do it really, really well through their cinematic cutscenes, and you really get to see how great Dario Cueto is as an actor. I forget the actor's real name, but He's fantastic in those scenes, and they've really expanded on some of their characters through these scenes, like Katrina, who is awesome. Rey Mysterio, who's actually really good in those scenes. I never thought he was much of a talker, but he came across great in those scenes. Marty the Moth came off great in those scenes as well. But the reason I bring it all up is that one of the storylines that they've had throughout the season is that in the crew, who in Season 1 were a bunch of thugs that kind of worked off the payroll of Dario Cueto, turns out that one of them is an undercover cop. That was Cortez, and he's trying to get dirt on Dario to get him arrested and bring down his whole organization. It's like, wow, that's a nice twist. And his partner is Joey Ryan, who's still playing his porn star kind of sleaze gimmick when he's in front of the crowd and when he's wrestling, but behind the scenes in these cinematic cutscenes, he's an undercover cop too. And that's hysterical. I love that. That is such a great, like, play with what we know Joey Ryan to be, while also, like, expanding on Cortez's character and expanding on Cisco's character by having him find out that his partner was an undercover cop the whole time and eventually being strong-armed into helping them out. And all this other stuff that came across, and I thought it was really good. So I'm wondering if there's going to be some kind of a payoff here, because none of those guys have a match at Ultima Lucha, so I'm wondering if they're going to kind of be the focus of the behind-the-scenes stuff. Much like how in Ultima Lucha 1, the focus of the backstage stuff was El Dragon Azteca and Black Lotus, and Matanza to a lesser degree, and their whole story. So I'm wondering if it's going to be the case here. Maybe they'll work Councilman Delgado into this, and the whole mystery surrounding him and his employer and all of that other stuff. There's so many layers to this. It's like I don't even know how to keep track of it all, but it's so great. It's so wonderful. So maybe Season 2 will end with Dario Cueto getting arrested by Joey Ryan, which would be kind of awesome. But so that's the reason I bring that up. So if you tune into Ultima Lucha Dos, you don't be surprised if you see something with Joey Ryan and the crew and Dario Cueto, because I expect there to be some kind of a payoff there. If not in Episode 1, then definitely in Episodes 2 or 3. So that'll probably be Night 1. I don't know how Nights 2 and 3 are going to be divided up. But the remaining matches are, we have El Dragon Azteca Jr. versus Black Lotus. And this is a match that has a build-up going all the way back to the very beginning of Season 1. Like, the first scene of Lucha Underground was El Dragon Azteca recruiting this young fighter who would turn out to be and eventually develop into El Dragon Azteca Jr., his student. And, you know, as the storyline progressed, El Dragon Azteca also trained Black Lotus, who wanted revenge on Matanza for killing her parents. And again, this is sounding like a Tarantino movie, but it's awesome. I love it. And it turns out, like, Dario told her that, no, it wasn't my brother Matanza who killed your parents, it was El Dragon Azteca. So Black Lotus ended up turning on El Dragon Azteca and killed him, which led to the whole cliffhanger of Season 1, and also forced El Dragon Azteca Jr. to finally put on the mask and enter his way into the temple to try and find out what happened to his mentor, and now it leads him to this point where he knows that Black Lotus killed his mentor, and now he's going to have a match with her at Ultima Lucha Dos. So, a lot of storyline build-up for it, and, again, if you're unfamiliar with Lucha Underground and it seems strange that there's an intergender match on the show, this is fairly commonplace for them. Lucha Underground does this all the time. They don't have a separate women's division, although they probably could. When you look at Sexy Star, Mariposa, Taya, Evilise, Black Lotus, they've got a good handful of girls. You know, they just kind of treat the women like any other fighter. Like, they can hang with the men, and in some cases it works very, very well. In other cases, it works well enough to tell the story, like Evilise and Mil Muertes did in the season opener for Season 2. I mean, I thought that was wonderfully done, the way they booked that. So, yeah, so really, it's gotten to where the intergender matches really don't feel that strange. My only concern with this match, and I don't know, like, I don't know how Angela Fong, she's the one playing Black Lotus. I don't know how she is as a worker. I've never seen her before. I have seen El Dragon Azteca, and he seems to get better and better every time he goes out there. The match he had with Prince Puma was really, really freaking good. But my problem here is that, okay, we all know, as people who have viewed Lucha Underground and have watched it from the beginning, we, the audience, know who Black Lotus is. I'm worried that the live crowd isn't going to know, and they're not going to be fully invested in the story because of that. Again, I don't know how it's going to play out, but we'll see. I guess El Dragon Azteca would win here. It's kind of like the feel-good babyface moment for him to get revenge on his mentor. That's my guess. Again, I'm making predictions when I said I wasn't going to make predictions. What the... because it's already been taped. Why am I doing this? I look stupid. But anyway, I'm hoping this match turns out well. I mean, this is something that has storyline implications going all the way back to the very beginning of the show. So it'll be very interesting to see how this ultimately plays out and where they go moving forward. So also on this card, the Perfect Woman versus the Baddest Bitch, Taya versus Ivelisse. And Ivelisse, who was paired with Son of Havoc, also became a beloved babyface over the course of the show, one of the first ever trios champions with Son of Havoc and Angelico, and has really carved a nice niche for herself as being one of the more likable characters on the show. And she's really likable. She's got the underdog quality that Son of Havoc has, but she's also got this like really nice feisty Spitfire attitude to go along with it. So I mean, that's why things like the match she had with Mil Muertes work so well. That she's just got an attitude to her that makes her kind of endearing, in addition to having all these other underdog qualities as well. And Taya, who's been paired with Johnny Mundo since the start of the season, when he started feuding with Cage, she's been a great addition to the show, I think. That match she had with Cage, where she got slammed and thrown all over the place, was amazing. And it was like, damn, she can really take some bumps. I mean, that's crazy. But I expect this to be a good match. I think the fans are into both characters. I think the storyline is there. Taya is currently, like I said, she's aligned with Johnny Mundo, who's one of the Trios champions, and Ivelisse was a former Trios champion, so there's some history there, where, Mundo's team ultimately cost her and Son of Havoc and Angelico the titles in their own, cheating ways. There's also, they've cost each other matches back and forth. They were at each other's throats, and they cost each other Aztec medallions recently. They were paired together as partners because Dario loves to do that, take enemies and make them partners. And their inability to work together kind of cost them the Aztec medallions. And also, they worked against each other in the 6 to Survive match, with the winner of that match getting a title shot against Matanza at Ultima Lucha, and Taya eliminated Ivelisse. And so they've got some like unresolved issues and a bunch of other things going on there. So there's a nice little feud going there, and I expect the match to be fun. I think it's going to be good, and it's nice to see them put the effort into making the women characters actually matter. Because that's really, at the end of the day, what you got to do. It doesn't really, it's just, you just got to make people care about the characters. At the end of the day, that's what wrestling promotions need to do. I mean, you can go out there and have all the 5-star matches that you want, or you can go out there and, talk about how important something is, but you gotta, like, put your money where your mouth is. And really, Lucha Underground doesn't do a whole lot of lip service about making the women matter. They just do it. And they put them in a position to succeed, and more often than not, they do. And, I expect this to be a really fun match, and I'm looking forward to it. Also on this show is the death match between Mil Muertes and King Cuerno, a match that I'm really looking forward to, because I really like both characters. And again, this is something that has been building all season long, where originally they had a partnership. When Mil Muertes won the Lucha Underground Championship at the end of Ultima Lucha, him and Katrina, I guess she's the one in charge, they took over the temple and in Dario's absence and kind of ruled the show for a while. And their partnership with King Cuerno is that they managed to make it so that he would be the Gift of the Gods champion. And the Gift of the Gods champion gets to, it's basically the Money in the Bank title, where the Gift of the Gods champion gets to cash in that title to earn a shot at the Lucha Underground World Heavyweight title. And their plan was to kind of get King Cuerno. It's like, all right, we'll get you the Gift of the Gods championship on the condition that you never cash in on Mil Muertes, just to give them an extra level of insurance that Mil Muertes can stay the champion. That partnership soon dissolved when the plan didn't really work out that well, as Phoenix ultimately won the Gift of the Gods championship back from King Cuerno after their series of matches, which were very good. And then the disagreements between the two sides started to build up more and more, to where they started costing each other championship opportunities. Namely, I know Katrina and her other cohort, Sinestro de la Muerte, beat King Cuerno for an Aztec medallion. And then the biggest event in this feud was Mil Muertes losing a Grave Consequences match to Matanza. And for those of you who don't know, a Grave Consequence match is basically a casket match. So as Mil Muertes is being carted away in the casket after he lost, King Cuerno took the casket, took Mil Muertes' corpse, and propped it up in his trophy room because King Cuerno's a hunter. And Mil Muertes' corpse is the ultimate prize. But Catrina soon appeared, reanimated Mil Muertes' corpse. He has red eyes now. It seems like whenever Mil Muertes dies and comes back, he has like some new feature to him. Like his eye colors has changed a couple of times. The first time he did it, he completely changed his outfit. And this time he came back with red burning eyes, like Judge Doom style red burning eyes, and it looks really cool. But basically my comment about this feud and about this match, it's basically Lucha Libre version of Undertaker versus Lucha Libre version of Randy Orton, the Apex Predator, the Hunter, whatever. And it's got that similar like character clash there. And I think it works really well. I'm really high on both talents. Mil Muertes is fantastic at playing like a big brute that murders people. Like he is believably like unstoppable. He just when he beats on you, he makes it look really, really, really good. And it creates some very good hard-hitting matches. And King Cuerno is he's just an amazing character, an amazing worker. I just love watching the guy. So it's kind of a heel versus heel match, but I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really excited to see what they do, especially since in a death match, it's going to be no DQ, it's going to be all over the place, it's going to be crazy. So, and Lucha Underground really excels at that. Whenever they have a situation or a match where the guys are allowed to really cut loose, they really deliver with it. And just when you think they can't come up with anything new or they can't quite... there's nothing left for them to do. They managed to do something amazing to make it work. So I'm really looking forward to this. My only real knock on the build-up is that they did a match last week between the two where King Cuerno won to set up this match. My problem is that by having Mil Muertes lose there, it kind of pretty much makes it a shoo-in that he's going to win at this show. Again, I don't mean to make predictions, but it tells me that Mil Muertes is going to get his revenge and ultimately win this match, which... you know, it's like, why does everything have to balance out 50-50? But anyway, that's a minor nitpick over, you know, what I'm sure will be a very entertaining and very solid match. But 4 more matches left to go. 3 of them are championship matches. We have the Gift of the Gods Championship with 7 competitors, each one winning an Aztec medallion, and the 7 Aztec medallions make up the Gift of the Gods title. And now all 7 of those competitors will compete for the championship, with the winner receiving the Gift of the Gods title and a chance to cash in on the Lucha Underground World Heavyweight Champion, presumably in Season 3. So we will see how that all plays out. But the 7 competitors are a new competitor who's making his debut, Nightclaw, who had a brief backstage cutscene with Dario. I've been told that the guy is actually a AAA talent, a Lucha Libre wrestler named Flamita. I hope I said that right. I've never actually watched the guy, but Lucha Underground does such a great they do such a great job with their characters that I'm just excited to see him regardless. It's like, all right, let's see what this... Hopefully he's awesome too. You know, Phoenix is great, Pentagon's great, Drago's great, all these other guys are great. So, fine, fuck it. Let's bring one more in. I'm happy. Let's do it. So hopefully he delivers and he turns out really well. The other 6 are... Sinestro de la Muerte, who is the surviving member of the Disciples of Death. The Disciples of Death were Catrina's like death cult and her 3 like loyal acolytes that beat people up and did Catrina's bidding and Mil Muertes' bidding. During the course of Season 2, they failed a few too many times, and Sinestro de la Muerte... basically what they did was kind of like what you saw in The Dark Knight, where the Joker like breaks the pool cue in half and it has the sharp, pointy edges on it, and he threw it down on the ground, and he said, all right, you 3 are going to compete for a spot in my gang. That's kind of what they did here, where they were kind of, the 3 members of the cult were kind of dared to, it's like, all right, you all failed, 2 of you got to go. And Sinestro de la Muerte was the one that rose above it and ultimately killed both of his partners, ripping one of their hearts out. He may have ripped both their hearts out, I don't remember, but did it Mortal Kombat style. And that's another one of my... loving praises of Lucha Underground. It's basically Mortal Kombat the show. That's basically what Lucha Underground is, and it's fantastic, and I love it. So, that's Sinestro de la Muerte at this point. He's basically still in the death cult, still under Katrina's control, but he's going out on his own, doesn't have the other disciples of death with him. The other 5 competitors, you have Marty the Moth Martinez and his sister Mariposa, who are... Marty the Moth is a character that I look at, and he makes me wish that Bray Wyatt was in Lucha Underground, because I can't imagine what they would be able to do with a character and a talent like Bray. When you look at what they've done with Marty the Moth Martinez, who is a believable psychopath. And he started off as kind of a joke, where he came in, he was like a guy, it's like, oh, I've got Aztec heritage, I'm the Moth. And Dario was kind of making fun of him, and other guys were making fun of him, and he just kind of came off like a joke. And then season 1 ends with him kidnapping Sexy Star and keeping her prisoner all until season 2, which set up that feud, and ultimately culminated in the No Mas match, which I've already said is my favorite match that I've seen this year. But the transformation from goofball to psychopath was really very, like, sudden, but very well done. And the mannerisms and the way he carries himself, he's just so great in the role. And Mariposa, who plays his sister, is legitimately imposing and terrifying and made a nice opponent for Sexy Star. So, and that's the other thing about this match, is that you have this match is sort of a carryover from that feud, where Sexy Star is another one of the people with the Aztec medallion, and she has pre-existing history with Marty the Moth and Mariposa. So you have that, and another person in this match that has recent history with Marty the Moth is Killshot, who, again, they expanded on him this season, where initially he was just a guy that did really cool moves and had kind of a gun motif as his character. Now it's revealed that he has a military background where his, his war buddies were killed, and he's the last surviving person in his troop. And he has the dog tags as a reminder of his fallen comrades. And Marty the Moth, being the psycho crazy person that he is, he stole Killshot's dog tags. So they have a pre-existing feud now heading into this thing. And yeah, so there are a lot of different like layers and character interactions and ties going on in this 7-man match, a match that you would typically expect to be kind of just a spot fest, where everybody's just kind of standing on their own, and the only thing they all have in common is that they're going for the same prize of the Gift of the Gods titles. There's a lot of like history there, especially between Sexy Star and Marty the Moth and Mariposa, and Killshot now being added into that. And the 7th person is Daga, who's a recent addition to the show. Seems like a solid talent. His big storyline thing going on right now is that Cobra Moon, who's another female talent that they've added in Season 2, who's a little creepy, acts a little bit like a snake, well, not a little bit, a lot like a snake, and she seems to be stalking Daga because she seems attracted to him, so I don't know if there's going to be some kind of payoff to that here, or maybe she'll help him win the Gift of the Gods title, who knows. A lot of different things could happen. I'm looking at these 7 guys, and I could view most of them winning the Gift of the Gods title, depending on where they want to go in Season 3. So this match will be very interesting, and regardless of what happens, it's going to have major implications on how storylines play out moving forward. So, again, it's very much like Money in the Bank in that aspect. Really the only difference between this and Money in the Bank is that with Money in the Bank, you get to cash in anytime you want, but with Gift of the Gods, they've made the distinction that you have to wait at least a week. You have to give them at least a week's notice before you do your cash-in, which I prefer, to be honest. It allows you to have a main event to get excited about. But that's just me. Another championship match on the show is the Trios Championship. Johnny Mundo, Jack Evans, and PJ Black defending their recently won Trios titles against the Lucha Awesome Dream Team, at least for me personally, of Phoenix, Drago, and Aerostar. Again, this is another match that has a lot of ties going back throughout the entire season, where it all started with Drago losing to Jack Evans in a very early match in Season 2, and then Jack Evans taking it to become the Dragon Slayer, and I'm the one that slayed Drago, and their feud that followed after that eventually resulted in PJ Black getting involved and helping Jack Evans beat up Drago at one point, and then Aerostar, who's a time traveler, by the way, which is really friggin' crazy, but also great. He shows up to help his friend Drago, because they have a pre-existing history from Season 1, where they have mutual respect for each other based off the Best of 5 series that they had from the previous year. And they helped fight off... Aerostar helped Drago fight off PJ Black and Jack Evans with nunchucks in probably the coolest cinematic cutscene that they did all season long. It was really well done and really cool. The big nunchuck fight. And that eventually culminated in the nunchuck match that they had a few weeks later that was very entertaining, very cool. And now you've got extra layers coming in where Johnny Mundo was brought in to replace Phoenix on Jack Evans and PJ Black's trios team because Phoenix got beat up backstage. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And Mundo, who fits their personalities a little bit better, was able to... and for those of you who don't know, I should explain. Johnny Mundo is John Morrison, and he's fucking great in Lucha Underground. He's been terrific. So is Jack Evans, and so is the Darewolf PJ Black. I really like them as a trio. And then Taya, who's added as kind of the fourth member, she... I think she adds a lot to the group as well. So they've got a nice little click there that I really like. So Phoenix, now wanting revenge on them, has joined up with Drago and Aerostar, and now we have this trios title match set up for this particular show. And I like all 6 guys to some degree. I think they're all either great athletes, great characters, or both. And I expect this to be action-packed. I expect it to be great. I expect it to be fun. And I'm going to pick the... God, I keep making predictions when I don't mean to, but screw it, whatever. My prediction is that this match is going to be awesome, and it's going to be one of the better matches from Ultima Lucha Dos. That's my prediction. And, yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be very good, and one of the major highlights of Ultima Lucha. So, that brings us to our 2 main events. We have a Lucha Libre Dream match in Prince Puma, who has been the top guy in Lucha Underground almost from the beginning. He was the first Lucha Underground champion. He was kind of the flag bearer for the entire brand for all of Season 1 and throughout Season 2. And he's going to be taking on Rey Mysterio Jr., who came in Season 2 with a lot of hype. He debuted at Aztec Warfare, did really well. He won the Trios titles with El Dragon Azteca Jr. and Prince Puma. But that partnership eventually dissolved and resulted in the match that we have here. And I expect this to be a major highlight of the show. I think the crowd, that Temple crowd, is going to be insane for this because they all love Puma and they all love Rey. So I expect this match to have a great atmosphere and provide great Lucha Libre action. I expect really, really good stuff here. And again, it's another major main event match that I'm really looking forward to, and I hope it comes off as well as I hope. The other main event is the monster Matanza Cueto defending the Lucha Underground Championship against Pentagon Jr. Matanza was a character that, again, had been built up from almost from the very beginning, where we knew that Dario Cueto had a brother, and we knew that he kept him locked up and that he was dangerous and he was a monster, and he even murdered a character, the third member of the crew, Bale. Friggin' murdered him with his bare hands. And we had this vicious psychopathic monster built up, and Dario later explained that he Dario explained that Matanza killed their mother in again, another one of the best scenes that Lucha Underground ever did. And Rey Mysterio explained that Matanza was empowered with the spirit of an ancient god, and that's why he's this monstrous being that seems invincible and can kill so many people seemingly at will, and why he's got why he's such a savage. And again, that mystical element that they add to this is just so cool and adds to kind of the whole grindhouse style that Lucha Underground goes for. And they built up Matanza throughout all of Season 1. We only caught one brief glimpse of him at the very end of Ultima Lucha. And then he came in, he was finally revealed in Season 2, and he debuted at Aztec Warfare, where he destroyed everybody and won the Lucha Underground Championship, and he's basically been destroying people left and right. One of his victims was Pentagon Jr., who, coming out of Season 1, became one of the hottest characters in Lucha Underground. Pentagon kind of became a very... I make all these comparisons to WWE characters. Pentagon kind of became like a Stone Cold Steve Austin-like character, where he was just that unpredictable rebel that does whatever the fuck he wants, and he's going to mow over who he wants to mow over to get what he wants. He also has a relationship with Vampiro, as it was revealed that Vampiro was his mentor, his master, who was convincing him to commit sacrifices, and by sacrifice I mean breaking people's arms. And basically destroying everyone in his path. So Pentagon came out of Season 1 with a lot of hype, a lot of people excited about him. The whole Cero Miedo hand gestures and everything were all like over like gangbusters. And then he finally gets a Lucha Underground title shot, one-on-one. He did have a triple threat shot with Prince Puma and Mil Martez, but he finally gets a one-on-one shot against Matanza and gets obliterated, which was great because it allowed it made Matanza look even more unstoppable that he took down Pentagon. And it also put Pentagon on the path to recovery, where we got all these cutscenes with Vampiro helping Pentagon train and get back, and heal and do all that other stuff to get back to the temple and ultimately get revenge. He comes back, breaks Chavo Guerrero's arm as if he hadn't missed a beat, steals Chavo's spot in the 6 to Survive match, or in the 12-man tag that set up the 6 to Survive, and ultimately earns his way into the Ultima Lucha Dos World Heavyweight Championship match. And I'm excited for this match. I think, again, it has a lot of build-up for a rematch. It'll be interesting to see if Pentagon is able to overcome Matanza and ultimately win the championship. I kind of hope that this is Pentagon's like big moment in the sun, because he's one of my favorite characters on the show. And it's another kind of heel versus heel match, but I think Pentagon is so cool that you just kind of pick him as the face by proxy. So again, really excited for this match, and I think it could turn out really well. So over the course of the next 3 episodes of Lucha Underground, we are going to be treated to their big season finale, Ultima Lucha Dos, and it should be a lot of fun and very incredible, and I will be here to talk about all of it when it's all said and done. And hopefully I get a similar experience to what I had last year, and if it's anything like last year's Ultima Lucha, I'm in for a really good time, because I loved last year's Ultima Lucha, and I just love Lucha Underground in general. So that is all I have to say about Ultima Lucha Dos. You can check it out on the El Rey Network. If you don't get El Rey Network, find some way to watch it, because if you're looking for something fresh, if you're looking for something different in pro wrestling, Lucha Underground really is the place to go, because it is so unique and so just immersed in its own universe that it has to be seen to be believed. And I'm fully on board with it. I'm a big supporter. I've been a supporter since the first time I saw it. I'm really excited to see what they do for the Season 2 finale, and I'm really excited to see what they do moving forward from here. So that is all I have to say about Ultima Lucha Dos. Just go check it out. You won't regret it, I promise. But that is all I have for you now. I'm about to get ready and go watch TNA, the final deletion. Hopefully the match lives up to its already kind of insane hype that it's getting. And hopefully you all check it out too, and hopefully we all enjoy it for one reason or another. But like I said, that is all I have for you now. I will be back with my final deletion reaction video, and I'll see you all later.